Welcome back. Joining us now is Shannon O'Connor, the first grade teacher at Raleigh Oak Charter and a strong supporter of the Waldorf Public Education Program, having spent time at Emerson Waldorf School in Chapel Hill. So good of you to join us today. Well, look, smile. She is a happy teacher.
Thank you for having us.
Are you happy, honestly?
I am happy.
I know you are. I know. First grade teacher, how do you get them to stay in their seats all at the same time? How is that possible?
Well, we sing to them, and I model what I want them to do. So if I want them to stand up and sing, I'll stand up and start singing, and they'll just sort of do what I do.
You've got to come visit me. I have little people that
you have to come visit us.
I will do that in another year or two. We're going to have one that'll go there. Listen, I'm wondering, what is a typical day like for you? First of all, being around young people is kind of cool for a while, to be honest, but by the end of the day, what do these first graders learn? What's it like for them?
Well, they come to school and they have a little bit of free time to socialize with one another, and then we start our morning lesson. And that's different than a traditional school. It's a long chunk of time when we engage. First, we wake up their bodies, we dance, we sing, we stretch, and then we do some mental math. Maybe I'll tell a story about being on my way to school and seeing a few geese over the lake, and then 2 wandered off and how many were left, and that kind of thing. And then do some games. And then when they're good and ready, when they've kind of gotten a little rosy-cheeked, then we'll sit them down at the desks. We are there to create the space for them to develop into, rather than them being vessels that I'm going to give facts and figures to so that they can test well or something like that. So it's different.
It is a lot different, and that's one of the big criticisms I've been hearing about it for a long time, that we're teaching to the test. You hear this from traditional public school teachers. They're very frustrated by that. And I know you test. I assume you do. You do, don't you? To some extent.
In a different way. We assess regularly, but it's not like sitting them down and testing, because testing is a certain skill. There are people who are good test takers who might not have any social skills, and vice versa. So what we do is, rather than testing them, we're just always looking at them, looking how are they breathing today? How are they engaging today? How are they meeting frustrations? How are they making their way through transitions? How are they following instruction? How are they expressing themselves creatively? All these different assessments come from the teacher really studying the child with love, not through scrutiny. So that's different.
Well, also I guess there is an emphasis, right, on arts and play and exercise and all of that. And there used to be that emphasis in traditional public schools because of budget and what have you, not to get into the politics of it. That's been cut. How has that impacted the student? And what are you seeing from the child who's now having an opportunity to engage in all of that?
I could give a little story just from the playground. When some of the children came to this school, they came from all kinds of educational experiences, homeschool, public school, maybe private schools. And some of them couldn't jump rope, which is an old activity that I think kids just did because they were bored and there were ropes lying around. So it took a while to teach them how to do it. But when you see someone do something that simple and feel so much success, something about being able to lift off the ground and anticipate the rhythm of that rope coming around, and then start adding rhymes, and then start adding numerical sequences, you can just see them shine, and they're so happy, and they line up to wait to jump rope. And so that's like an old-fashioned thing that's gone out of style that we encourage.
How sad that is, though, that you don't get to do that.
Or play in the dirt.
Yeah. Pretty basic stuff for most of us growing up was you could jump rope. But something you said is, once they've achieved it, it's a feeling of accomplishment, which I assume then carries over into accomplishing other tasks. Is that what you're seeing?
Yes, and we could even go further and say, if they're not really all the way in their bodies, meaning if they don't have use of their fine motor skills, their gross motor skills, they're not going to retain information very well. No. They might memorize facts and be able to regurgitate them back, but they're not going to really know something. Whereas in Waldorf education, we build things up a little bit slower, but they take things in maybe more deeply.
Are they allowed to be little individuals? In other
They
words,
definitely are little individuals.
to basically move along where their interests take them, what their abilities take them. I mean, it seems like critical thinking skills is something that is so incredibly important. I'm not sure we teach that anymore. But it's an environment like this seems to be exactly the incubator for developing those skills. Am I wrong?
Absolutely, hopefully.
Oh, I know. You're a good teacher. You're happy, and the kids are happy. Is this something that any kid could, I guess, blossom in, this kind of environment? Do you think it's appropriate for any kid?
I think there's something about it that speaks to any child, which is that Waldorf education is just sensible. It makes sense.
What about the parents, too?
That's a good point.
How do they feel about it? Because it
really
is out of the norm now.
Yeah. So we're not just filling children with information, we're really looking at them as whole beings, and that does overflow into the home. We have to work together with the parents as a team. And if the parents are on board, then that can be a really good fit. Even if a child's struggling, if the parents are on board and the teacher loves the child, it can be a good fit.
Well, that is awesome. I mean, this is very exciting, I think. If we can get this down and it's successful and then it expands, I think it's wonderful. You sound like you'd be a great teacher too, and at the end of the day, you are happy, correct?
I am very happy.
Just because the principal's off down at the camera, you really are.
I'm happy, I'm grateful, and I'm proud to be a part of the first public Waldorf school. I hope it does blossom and thrive.
I think it will. How can it not?
You.
Well, thank you so much. And to all of our guests, thank you. And of course, thank you for watching. We hope you enjoyed today's show. If you have any questions or would like to know a little bit more about our topic, visit our website at RaleighCW.com and myrdctv.com. And I'm Bill LeMay. Thank you for watching Community Matters. See you next week.